And we've got all kinds of new news for you. Of course, coming from, I got this from Open Minds, but I mean, you guys can get this available anywhere. Do a search for Gliese 581G, and it's a brand new exoplanet discovered in space. It looks like it's going to be a good candidate for extraterrestrial life because it sits right in the Goldilocks habitable zone in a solar system not too far from here. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. According to new atmospheric modeling research, the planet Gliese 581d, like its neighbor Gliese 581g, may lie in the star's habitable zone, the region where a planet's temperature can sustain liquid water on its surface, and the new research supports similar studies from earlier this year. The research suggests Gliese 581d is rocky like Earth and probably 7 to 8 times the size of Earth. Now let's think about this. We've just discovered that the universe is actually 3 times larger than previously thought. 3 times larger. That means that the Drake equation, of course, is the probability of extraterrestrial life, has just gone up exponentially by 3 times. So instead of there being something like a billion candidates worthy of life, there are perhaps 3 billion, circa, habitable planets, perhaps capable of supporting intelligent life. So life is out there, definitely. It's not a question of, if we're going to find it, it's when. All the latest information seems to suggest that it's already here, visiting us. And perhaps from the beginning of time. And if you watch George Toukoulos's series on the History Channel, Ancient Aliens, or read anything by the late, great Zecharia Sitchin, or of course, who is it now? Eric von Daniken, then you know that there's all kinds of stuff going on in history that we're slowly starting to unravel. But back to Gliese 581g, there's a new story in Open Minds magazine. You guys know that this is my main source, my main man Alejandro Rojas and staff out there in Arizona always bring us the deets and the goods on everything going on in the world. He's a former spokesman for MUFON, of course. He was on the show last episode. Had him on twice. He was so good. Same episode rerun. We'll have him on again in the future. He's printed this story now that says, and very interestingly, that if there is life out there in Gliese 581, D or G, they're probably watching, if they have the capability to listen or to hear or to catch the signals that are floating out in space. Cheers. In the Arsenio Hall show. That could be what they're watching right now on Gliese 581. Thought you guys might like that one.
This planet, Gliese 581, you say?
Yeah.
It sits in the Goldilocks zone. What exactly is that, Justin, the Goldilocks zone?
It's not too close to the star, not too far away, but it's just right.
Okay.
Close enough to the stars to sustain an intelligent life similar to us.
Okay.
Very interesting stuff. Billy Myers in here again. Michael Horn, who's going to be on a former broadcast of the Unified Field, is in an Open Minds story here saying that Billy Meyer, the story of Billy Meyer, is going to be taught in schools, many schools and universities, colleges, schools, universities, in the form of a multimedia presentation about the story of Billy Meyer and how hardcore the evidence is. And Michael Horn is an individual who, takes no bull. He's, he doesn't mess around. If you don't believe in the Billy Meyer case, then I don't care, because Billy Meyer is the real deal, and his story is legitimate. I'm Michael Horn. That's all I have to say. He seems to have tamed down. I heard him in an interview there recently, and he seems to be a little bit more calm, but dude is adamant that Billy Meyer is sincere, but many people think he's some kind of cultist in a way. I don't know. You all have probably seen the famous Billy Meyer photographs, the too good to be true photographs, very clear, of saucers floating, pictures, photographs. Not only that, but videos of flying saucers kicking around in very, very clear detail. And, of course, the debunkers have said that they're all models, faked, hung from a string, dangling around, but he claims it's the real deal.
I remember those photos, yeah.
Yeah, and George Adamski came with a whole bunch more. He was a contactee from back in the day who said the same thing. The funny thing is that people who claim to see flying saucers, and people from the inside of government military installations, and other people who say they've worked on projects, say that the craft, these anti-gravity devices, these zero-point propulsion devices, all seem to have a bit of instability when working inside the Earth's atmosphere due to the basic operation of the gravitational fields. So there's some weird corroboration going on there. Is Billy Meyer telling the truth? I don't know, but Michael Horn says it's the truth. You'll hear it straight from the horse's mouth when he's on the program. Probably in the next couple months, we're in contact. We'll see where that goes. Interesting stuff, though. It seems they're they're pushing it a little bit harder to teach at universities. But hey, free speech, right? Who knows? We could all be in the dark on that one. Very interesting. Extraterrestrial Affairs Commission in New York. Very interesting. They're calling it Yes on 300. Sorry, it's a new initiative that Michael Luckman, author of Alien Rock, is trying to put together in New York. Very similar to the initiative proposed in Denver, Colorado. You must all remember Jeff Peckman and that deal. Of course, everybody voted against that in Denver. They did have a few people who voted for it, which is very cool because it seems to indicate that there is some interest within, fields and in politics that are interested. What is the initiative? What is Yes on 300? That collapsed on 300 and they're trying it again in New York. They say New York might be a little bit more progressive. It's basically, in a nutshell, an initiative, a package put together by theologians, researchers, that's accessible to the public on the story of flying saucers, UFOs, extraterrestrials. Not theory, well, okay, there's some theories and hypothetical stuff, but this is a nuts and bolts initiative where you can go and research the facts. Who saw what? When did they see it? What did radar tell people? What are nuclear physicists saying? What are astrophysicists saying? Stanton Friedman, Michio Kaku. What are these people saying about it? Contactees, what are their statements? Project Blue Book, Project Grudge, all of these Freedom of Information documents. You can check all this stuff out. The fact of the matter is, in my belief, from looking at this stuff for over 2 decades, is it's fact. People probably say, Justin, you're crazy. You're a crazy little man. What are you talking about? Do your homework. Read the books. Talk to the officials, the researchers. Come to your own conclusions. Too many people from all ranks and walks of life have said the same thing. The evidence is there all throughout history. Are extraterrestrials involved? I don't know. Are they extraterrestrial? Something's happening. There's something interacting with us. What kind of name do you give it unless you have, the information right from E.T. themselves? I don't know. Very interesting stuff. A new initiative in New York. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about there. We spoke about NASA's 100-year Starship before that's going to speed up trips to places like Mars and a third of the time that it did before based on these new plasma engines that they're working on. So that's pretty cool stuff. Open Minds, always good resource. Check that out. There's lots of stuff to see there. I want to quickly just set the scene here in another way. Play a track by a great new band from the U.S. called Dark, Dark, Dark right here on UFR. It's called Robert. That's dark, dark, dark on the unified field. Beautiful. That's from the Day Trotter sessions, and you can look that stuff up online. It's there for you to enjoy.
That's really beautiful music.
Sorry, Dad?
That's really beautiful music.
Yeah, it really was nice, isn't it? And I really like the distorted piano. That's kind of interesting.
It is.
Very nice. I want to say hello out there to Tasha, who may be listening in Radioland. Hi, Tasha. Your support is always a very welcomed addition to me and the program. What are we going to talk about, Dad? Is there a lot going on? What's going on here? What are we going to talk about?
Well,
let's see. I got all kinds of stuff to talk about. I could talk to you guys all night long. But of course, everybody needs a voice, so I'm not going to talk all night. But I will tell you a story that was sent to me by the beautiful and progressive producer of What on Earth, who we mentioned earlier. See the serendipity, the synchronicity is all over the place. You just got to look for it. Earth must prepare for contact. This is an article she dug up. Basically, it says that and this is from theconversation.org if you want to check this out yourself. Scientists take ET seriously, and the media skews their proceedings. What she says here is that the UN should coordinate plans for dealing with extraterrestrials. And we can't guarantee that all aliens will be friendly. Earth must prepare for close encounters with aliens, say the scientists. Here's what the newspaper article said, reported by The Conversation and Mrs. Taylor. World government should prepare a coordinated action plan in case Earth is contacted by aliens, according to scientists. They argue that a branch of the UN must be given responsibility for quote-unquote supra-Earth affairs and formulate a plan for how to deal with extraterrestrials should they appear. The comments are part of an extraterrestrial-themed edition of the Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society, published today. And this, of course, would have been, I think, a couple weeks back. How many times can a guy say, of course, in one broadcast?
Would you like to be sitting on that committee?
Oh, yeah. That'd be something else. That'd be something else. So she's a formidable person to talk to and look to, Suzanne Taylor at theconversation.org. Very interesting stuff. Check that stuff out for yourself. It's definitely worth the time. Oh, this is a really cool story, actually, that came from, again, Alejandro Rojas. I hope you get a lot of subscribers out on this end of the earth, because I talk about you all the time. You'd swear I had a man crush on you or something. Unbelievable. You're just so industrious, I can't help it. This comes from the magazine. Check it out. It's online. This isn't in... Actually, sorry, this is the online magazine, not the hard copy. Is there a UFO under Dreamy Draw Dam? There's a rumor circling the internet that there's a UFO